being solely driven by money, I decided to take a shortcut. And there are no shortcuts in life. And I should have known better. I go to the gym, I go home to do my cold plunge. I get out of the cold plunge, and I get swarmed by cops.
Oh, shit.
In my house.
Oh, my God.
So that one thing that I thought was in the past behind me, it all just came crumbling down. After 3 Buds classes and 1 SWCC class, ultimately my Navy career came to an end. There's the famous Hell Week. Hell Week's that line in the sand is you pass that, now that's your starting point. But if you don't pass that, you got to go back to one day in orientation. Because of where I got injured and removed, I always had to start over. The definition of like entrepreneurship is trying, right? It's lost, and it took me a long time to adapt this mentality. Going to the Navy, not achieving my goal in the Navy, I felt like a failure. I don't today.
Welcome to Flippin' Soul Flow. This is another episode. I'm excited for this one. We have Mike Brenner in the house, BDG, Brenner Development Group. We will get to that in a second. He will tell his story about where he's at now and all that kind of stuff. He is my developer partner. He's the one that I always talk about in the videos because I know zero about, well, I probably know 2% now about development, but that I've learned from him. We come from opposite sides of the spectrum on the real estate side, but dude, you're, for 29 years old, extremely knowledgeable for what you've gotten. And you have a lot of degrees in this. It's not like you were just, running around. You know what I'm saying? Which we'll get to that. He's a UM grad, but also an FSU grad, which is a conundrum.
Soul divided.
Yeah. Who you go for in the games?
If it's FSU Miami, I go FSU.
Oh.
I go FSU.
Wow.
It's 4 years undergrad there. Much different routes than 2 master's programs.
Yeah.
Although you could make the argument that a master's degree outweighs undergrad.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the fun, the relationships, and the experience that I had at FSU, at UM.
Or the STDs.
Oh, jeez.
We'll start hard there.
Made it through college safe with those.
What a guy.
That was a fun experience. I transferred there from St. Louis University. I got a scholarship to play Division I baseball. I was a diehard baseball player in high school, and the dream was to go to the major leagues. So, part of my innate characteristics is just I want to be the best at whatever I do. So I was like, hey, I'm playing ball as a kid. I'm going to the major leagues, and I'm going to be that guy, be that percent of a percent of a percent. Quickly realizing getting to the Division I level, there's a big performance gap in skill level from a 5'8" Jewish kid who can run a 6'3", 60 to some of these big corn-fed boys who just launch home runs. I was just a base hit guy, turn a single into a double by stealing. So during my time there at St. Louis, that was the time of like the big riots. I don't know if you remember that, but the hands up, don't shoot one.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember the name. But just a unique experience, South Florida kid in a Midwest city. Wasn't a great fit, playing in -11 wind chill. So, ultimately I ended up getting redshirted just because of the skill level gap and decided to transfer to Florida State, hang up the cleats, had the best time ever. Did the Greek life thing. I had friends there, bartended, best experience. Fast forward to junior year. Trying to figure my shit out, and I had lost that feeling, that like the fire in the belly for like being the best. And it's fair to say I was a little upset of where I was at. I was having a great time, but just felt lost, right? The partying, don't get me wrong, it's fun, but wanted more out of life and wanted to challenge myself and become the best at something. There's always a childhood dream of mine to be a Navy SEAL. Buds Class 2, 3, 4 on the military channel, glued to that as a kid. I had a white shirt. I had BDU camis. You can ask my mom, dude. I would be out. It would rain would come. I'd be in the yard, rolling around in the mud, doing push-ups. Seriously, as a kid.
That's
like
cool,
doing flutter kicks in the puddle, right?
Still does that to this day at the gym.
Growing up from Boca Raton, it's like Jewish kids don't go in the Navy. Jewish kids definitely don't become Navy SEAls. First of all, I wasn't the first Jew to be there, but
it's a rare bird.
I'm in the library. I'm studying real estate, of course, because I'm in a real estate family, so I always knew that was in my DNA as well. But I'm sitting in the library studying for an exam, and then I kind of just switch tabs, and I know you do this sometimes too. Start looking up operator porn. The helmets, the nods, the fucking guns, the vests,
it's dope,
the cool
dude.
gear, and I go, what am I doing? Like, that's what I want. I start getting like that rush, like the same rush I had about the dreams of being a major leaguer. So, safe to say I stopped studying and Googled, like, what do I need to do, right? At the time, they were offering like $12,500 signing bonus to go into the Navy for special warfare. I was like, all right, seems like I can make this work, look up the salary.
College kid, you're like, yeah, this is dope, dude.
But I was bartending. I was making good cash. I was like, all right, they cover housing, food. But again, circling back to, like, whenever I brought up I want to go into the military, it was like, you're not going into the military, Mike.
What year is this, more or less?
This is 2017, because I graduated 2018.
Okay. And you're how old?
I'm 29 now.
No, then.
Oh, I'm turning 21.
So just the sweet spot right there.
Yeah, right.
Now or never.
So, I think a big point that I'm throwing to the story is my senior year of high school and got the baseball scholarship. I had felt a burnout coming, and I was more so, hey, going to a new school, new program, relight that fire. But there was a point where I told my coach, I told my mom, hey, I'm gonna quit baseball. I'm gonna go become a Navy SEAL out of high school. And my coach was like, no, you're not. You got this scholarship. You worked your whole life for it. Go do it. You can always do that later. And my mom, same thing. And then, of course, my dad, you do the right thing when you make your mother happy, right? So,
Which your dad is awesome.
Yeah,
He's hilarious.
yeah.
Scott.
So fast forward, I'm sitting in the library. I'm 20 at this time. I'm like, wait, I kind of control my life. I can make my own decisions. So I go, how do I get into the military, like, tomorrow? So I called the ROTC office.
Oh,
Because
God.
like, hey, I'm a college officer, blah, blah, blah. And FSU only had Army ROTC. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. SF it is. Green Beret. Sick, right?
You just wanted to go.
Yeah.
Like, at this point.
So I closed my laptop in the library. I went down to the ROTC office, just walked in. The captain was there, so sat down, told him what I wanted to do, and he goes, great, semester's ending. Why don't we get you enrolled in the program, get the military science classes on your schedule for next year, adds an extra year to college because I got to do the extra stuff. So now I'm in the spring semester and I'm in Army ROTC. So I'm doing military science classes, uniform, going to the drill in the morning. And at this time, I'm still bartending, and we've got PT at 6 a.m. I don't get home from the bar at 4. So this is where the sicko mindset starts to set in. I go home from the bar, I cut out all my drinking, I get an hour nap, and then I go to drill. And then at this, I was still lifted, like I was powerlifting. I thought I was in good shape, and I realized real quick, like, I'm getting dusted by these nerds. Like, I'm like, no fucking shot. So
a lot of cardio.
My whole mindset shifts. And through that spring semester, I meet a couple buddies who one or both are training to become Navy SEALs. And that was their lifelong goal. And we started connecting, going out for runs and lifting together. And, we would do swim workouts. Next thing I know, the Navy recruiter is in there, administering a swim test for those two guys. And we get to talking, and he's like, well, I can get you an SO contract, classic, recruiter. And
sell the dream.
At this, reading all the military books like Goggins, Jocko, and I go, well, it takes a while, but what do I really want to do in the military? Like, what was the goal or the dream from the start? It was to become a Navy SEAL. So I ended up dropping ROTC and switching the whole methodology and really becoming an expert swimmer, right? So the one kid I was training with swam in high school and did like Olympic trials in Michigan, so learned to swim from him. And the other kid just a freak athlete, German blood, and he was a swimmer and a cross country in high school. So these kids had the right tools and the athletic ability for like Navy SEAL training.
But the mindset is important.
Yes. Yeah. So me coming in, baseball player, no running and swimming background, I had to learn all that stuff. So started to get real good, started to catch up to them real quick. And we all got SEAL contracts at the same time. So we were all going to leave together. Fast forward now, senior year, graduation coming. We all have our enlistment date. Like, hey, we're going to MEPS and we're getting shipped off. One guy ended up getting compartment syndrome from running, shin splints times 20, got surgery, his got delayed. The other guy ended up pivoting to the Army last minute. He went off into the Army, ended up sustaining a crazy injury during training and got medically separated within a year.
Wow.
Super sad story because all this kid wanted was the military. So I was the only one that left. After all this time training together, hey, we're going to do it together. I'm the only one getting on the bus
you're like
going.
the last one.
Yeah, I'm the one on the bus going.
Was that a mind fuck for you?
No, I was just like, are these kids ever going to go?
No kidding.
So I'm there. Fast forward, the one who got the compartment syndrome ends up leaving, catching up. His story ends, he's a SEAL now. He went to medical school. He's done a deployment already.
No shit.
Yeah, he's there.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big dude, swimmer, flat feet, not born to run, but mindset. He pushed through. So every once in a while we still are in contact, but being there, being in buds, ultimately didn't reach the finish line due to injuries, right? It's one of those things where it doesn't matter how physically prepared you are, mentally tough, you got to have a little bit of stroke of luck, right? And that's, injuries, sickness. One guy ducks boat and breaks your neck. One guy drops a log on your foot. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So I showed up as mentally prepared and physically prepared as I could have been, and more so than some of the other guys most likely. But, found out my mind was made of steel, my body was made of glass, and after 3 buds classes and 1 SWCC class, ultimately my Navy career came to an end.
Wait, but can we stop there for a second?
Sure.
Because this is very important. You've given a lot of really good shit, but that's super important. You said 3 buds classes.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of throw that out there. I have a lot of friends who are SF guys and like prior military stuff.
Yeah.
My brother was in the military. 3 buds classes is, it wasn't like you were just like, ow, my leg hurt, and you were done. Like, you went through 3 buds classes. That is painful.
Yeah. So what some people may not realize is it doesn't matter at what, there's 2 caveats, right? There's the famous Hell Week. Hell Week's that line in the sand is you pass that, now that's your starting point. But if you don't pass that, you got to go back to one day in orientation. So
how long does it take to get to Hell Week for the people that don't know?
So you have 3-week orientation, 3 weeks of buds. Hell Week is the 4th week of buds.
Okay.
That's when I was there. A lot of this programs changed. I believe that's still true. But, they have a whole new compound now. The training has changed. But anyways, for when I was there, it was still, INDOC changed to basic orientation, right? Just the name, but the same 3 weeks. So those 3 weeks is a crawl, walk, run. You have to learn how to do the boats and the swims and all the technical stuff that gets, quote unquote, tested in the phase of buds once it starts. So because of my where I got injured and removed, I always had to start over. So those 3 weeks of basic orientation, that last week starts to turn into the taste of the meat grinder. And then...
What is that?
Well, just more physically intense, right? So your body's not truly breaking down in INDOC yet. That's not the point of it. It's to get in your boat cruise, to understand the program, the evolutions, what you need to do and where you need to be. So you get orientated on what's about to happen.
But what's really, because you and I spoke about this at length, right? Because
Yeah.
we're friends off camera, but you get there like first day, and is it just ass whooping?
No. That's a huge misconception. Like,
Because that's, a lot of people watch that and they're like, oh, dude, this guy's getting wrecked.
Like,
how does it actually go?
in the orientation, there's classroom time. Like, you meet with the mental coach, the physician, like the sports scientist, because they have, a sports science program in Naval Special Warfare.
Well, they got this kind of figured out.
Yeah, but still, it's like we're just going to still try to break you down and don't really care about your, operational life. But anyways, the quote-unquote beatdown really starts, on one day of buds. Like, breakout, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like,
that's about 3-4 weeks after you're already there?
That's three weeks after you're already there.
Okay.
So you only work Monday through Friday. You got the weekends off, and that's recovery, painting your helmets, doing your uniforms, inspection, polish your boots, and just relax, right? Don't mess with the weekends. You don't get messed on the weekends. But it's really focused. Just eat, recover, sleep.
But you know that this is coming.
Everybody knows what they signed up for.
You're like, all right.
Everybody can read the books. Everybody can see the videos. But yet still, the attrition is the same.
What's the attrition?
They say it's like 15% make it through.
Wow.
I mean, it's the statistic, but you break it down a level further, and the guys who one-shot it is probably like 1%. So no injuries, no rollbacks. You start and go all the way through to the finish line. It's a one-shot. So that guy's rare. That guy's rare. The guys who...
Was like your buddy that came down to visit?
He got rolled one time, but that was post-Hell Week.
So he hit the checkpoint.
Yeah, he hit the checkpoint.
He was probably like, yes!
Yeah. So he hit the checkpoint, and he got rolled because of the injury sustained in Hell Week. And you have it's called Walk Week after Hell Week.
It's
and it's
earned.
just, so that's the 1 week that you don't have to run. If you're moving on base, you have to run.
You've told me that, and I find it hilarious. But you call it the Bud Shuffle.
Yes.
Where like I'm training for the 100-miler right now, and you told me like, dude, just Bud Shuffle that shit whenever you need to.
Yep.
What's the Bud Shuffle?
It's a mix between the slowest jog possible and a walk. Little hip movement, little sway of the hips. It looks like you're running, but it feels like you're walking.
It's probably like a 15-minute mile.
Maybe slower.
16.
So the 3 buds classes I did were all in that indoctrination in those 3 weeks of first phase. So of course it's physically demanding, but I sustained multiple stress fractures, and then rehab, get back into class, and after 3 tries, it was hey Mike, this is not working for you, right? We know you want to be here, but we got to make room for the next guy and give them the fair chance to make it through. So the rule is you get one fair shot, but there's exceptions to that rule. So I had talked to the cadre, the training staff, and said, look, like, I want to be here. I'm physically and mentally fit. I'd like to explore the opportunity of cross-rating to SWCC, Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman. So again, the rule is if you want to cross-rate, you need to go out to the fleet, do your time as a undesignated seaman, or some people get lucky with some cool jobs, and come back. And it's like a 2-year process.
Let's talk. Hold on, because this all ties in, bro, to like adversity and the risk factor. So for the people that aren't understanding, when these guys don't make it, you went in on an X-ray contract?
Well, it's an SO. X-ray is the Army.
Okay. So you went in and you had a contract to go to Buds, right? Mm-hmm. So you were guaranteed that, but not guaranteed much else outside of that.
No.
Once you default or whatever, you get an injury, etc., just life, right?
Yep.
You were ready. You were there. You're like, dude, I could keep going forever, but my body won't go.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize this. You just go, the Navy just says, or any military branch just says, where do we need people?
Needs of the Navy.
Bloop, and they just drop you. I mean, you could be mopping the floor on a ship for the next 2 years.
9 times out of 10, that's what happens.
And then there's even guys that do that shit for 2 years, make it back, and then go through.
Yeah, and they make it back and decide to, or get injured again or quit again.
Yeah, because you told me that you had seen guys like, oh shit, this is their second time.
They're called fleet returnees.
Fleet returnees.
Yeah.
And you saw, I mean, you told me that one story about that guy. That guy literally just.
Yep. No.
What was that about?
He had gone through like 2 years prior to that class, and it's one day and on the grinder, and 3:30 in the morning, it's the start of buds. And
what's the start? Burpees? What is it?
In that class it was.
Fuck me.
So our proctor is on the stand. We're all on the duck feet in formation, and he just goes burpees down. What? Do a burpee, stand up, ding, ding, ding.
No way.
Just like, and it was the fleet returnee. So
What's the ding, ding, ding for people that don't know? The bell.
The bell. Three rings of the bells. You quit. You put your helmet off, and you stick it on the grinder. And everybody who quits puts their helmet on the grinder. So as the days go by and the weeks go by, this line of helmets starts to wrap around.
I think that's like a metaphor to, I respect the shit out of you, but I respect the shit out of anybody, but I relate so much to that, like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because obviously minus the military thing, no comparison there, but it really is identically like that.
Yeah.
We don't have, I wish there was a fucking bell and there was like some place where every entrepreneur had to go put their metaphorical helmet. Because I'm at it for 9 years, dude.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people. Like, statistically, businesses lasting past the first 2 years, it's like 60-something% of businesses go out.
Yeah.
Past 5 years is 2% or something. Yeah. It's staggering,
Well, the thing is, a lot of guys don't understand it. It's because the culture's out there. It's, I'm either making it through or going home in a body bag type mentality is in life, in the Navy, in entrepreneurship, and it gets brushed over, whether it's society or just being a type A dude. Is it the definition of like entrepreneurship is trying, right? So it's lost, and it took me a long time to adapt this mentality. Got a good therapist and coach, but it is okay to try and not succeed.
Absolutely.
And because you don't succeed, that does not make you a failure. And because of the high pressure environment there and the lure of becoming a SEAL, I'm go out and say everybody feels like a failure, and it is a tough time recovering from that. So tying it all together is, Major League Baseball didn't achieve that. I felt like a failure. Mm-hmm. Going to the Navy, not achieving my goal in the Navy, I felt like a failure. I don't today. But it took a long time to adopt that mentality and be okay with trying and not succeeding, because I had to go through all those steps to be where I am now, and I am seeing success. So it's all stepping stones and, forging the fire, doing hard things, to all the shit that like David Goggins is going to run around saying. Mm-hmm. There is truth to it. So, even at that point and transitioning out of the Navy, so after that last, so I was able to get that SWCC contract. I didn't have to go out to the fleet. And
that was just through talking to people.
Right.
And clearly you must have been very well liked. You were a good performer.
Yes.
Because they must have seen something in you. They don't just hand that out, right?
Right.
You couldn't have been a douchebag.
No, and it's advocating for yourself, right? Yeah. And making the argument. So there was a period of time didn't know if it was possible, but I reached out to some congressmen that I knew in Florida, got some letters of recommendation, and submitted it to the cadre. I don't know if it was necessary to do, but I was like, how do I prove that I am the guy that they want here? Mm-hmm. So going above and beyond, right? Even in the program, there's here's the minimum standard, but that's just the minimum standard. Like we need to go above and exceed the minimum standard, right? Like 55 push-ups for a standard, that's bullshit, right? You know.
Yeah.
So I got that shot, and during the tour, which is the Hell Week version of the SWCC program, I had sustained an injury prior to the start, and the injury just exacerbated on that first day, and I got med pulled, and that was it. It was clearly, this is unfortunately, you know, not going to be my career. So that ended up setting off the trigger for the medical separation process. You know, fast forward to September of 22, I'm coming home.
So 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like for everybody listening, dude, this guy just didn't go out there for 6 months. Like, all right, cool. Like, this is 3 years of your life.
Yeah.
That you dedicated.
Yep.
At post-college.
Post-college.
Post not making it to the major leagues.
Yep. Yeah.
And even post-SEAL training, you're like, fuck it. Let's just go for a SWCC training.
Yeah.
Just for insult to injury. Like, why not?
No, what's cool about the SWCC is, like, after going through that program, I actually ended up loving that job more. It was so cool. The boats, you're learning navigation, all this cool stuff. And it's a really cool job. And what people don't understand, at the time, there was only like 900 active duty boat guys, SWCC. And there's about 3,000 active duty SEALs. So it's even more exclusive than being a SEAL. It is a different program than BUD/S. It is very rigorous as well, but just a hair less. Like, I'm not knocking the program at all. It's designed differently to elicit a different outcome than BUD/S. So
what's the outcome they're looking for? More technicality, more navigation?
It's the same thing, because they're still trying to break you down and weed you out, and it's still a never quit mentality. But it's just a different job. So, you know, flipping burgers to being a librarian, different requirements, right? So it's physically demanding in a different way, right? It's a lot more technical in the start. It's a lot more classroom time in the start to learn these skills. So rather than, like, compared to the first 3 weeks of BUD/S, where it's just everything's physical, the first 3 weeks of the basic crewman selection is extremely physical, but it's also mixing in class time. So there's a break in the physical demand, but you're learning something, and you have to go prove that you learned it and you can apply it, right? So you're in dry land, you're in a controlled room in a classroom, you know, mapping out coordinates and routes that you would be on the boat. Next day, you're on the boat, and the weather sucks, the boat's moving, and you got to do the same thing that you were doing on the desk in a controlled environment. So
didn't you say that they took you guys out to the middle of the ocean with no light, and they're like, find your way back or something?
Well, it was light out, but it was a rainy day, and you just had, based off what you learned in the classroom, you had to be able to figure out where we were within a 200-meter circumference by just shooting points on a compass with landmarks. And if you didn't get it within the 200 meters, and if you didn't get it within the time, remediation. Prepare to pay the man.
Prepare to pay the man.
Out in the ocean, you just jump in the freezing water and just hold on until the next guy's done, and then you get back, and then there's the beatdown. But
so that's what happens. So you fail, and they're like, get off the boat. Hang on. In the freezing water.
Yeah, you're not moving. It's not. It's safe. You have a life jacket on, a helmet, and stuff.
Sucks.
But
you feel like a dodo bird because you're just there, just fuck.
The whole thing, it pays to be a winner, and that goes through life.
I love
business.
that expression.
Yeah. Because you do it, you're dry, and you stay on the boat, and you just get to watch the guys. So,
did you ever get failed?
Well, I passed, and then, like, I gave, like, one of these to my buddy, and he was like, "Fuck you, Brenner, get in." I'm like, dude.
So you got bumped for another reason.
Yeah. So even when you win, you fail, right?
Ego.
Yes. Yeah.
That's funny.
So anyways, you know, whole Navy career, come back in September 22, and I'm like, all right, what's next, right? So I got an opportunity to go into the insurance industry. So
Life insurance?
property insurance. Because it was like, hey, coming back, I know I'm a real estate guy. There's a million different avenues in real estate, which people don't realize. Obviously, we're on totally opposite ends, but we've collaborated. We'll get to that. But from just residential brokerage, commercial brokerage, buyer rep, seller rep, tenant rep, investment sales. There is so many different avenues
Industrial,
for every different asset class. So I looked around and said, okay, I've got a couple of my best friends are in investment sales. My father's still doing brokerage. All these guys are selling buildings and no building owners. So how do I add value to this team and generate business? Well, all these guys need commercial insurance. So I was like, this is great. This could be a huge business opportunity. And the good thing about insurance is it's recurring revenue. You build this book, and every year, January 1st, you know exactly how much you're making. And the brokerage side of the world, you eat what you kill, right? So
very different mentality.
So got sold on the pros of the business. So I got my 220, and I started at this insurance company. I walk into that office day one. First of all, the office isn't even ready for me. I'm like, well, I had like a month to prepare for this. How do we not even have a computer at my desk? And look around, I'm like, oh man, I am not a fucking insurance guy. But
and you're coming from the military, so like everything's very.
But I was like, look, I don't have a toolbox right now. I'm just a meathead who broke down, right? And I got to figure out the next step. So let me see if I can learn something, right? So I give it 6 months, fair shot. And I don't want to blame the company, but it was like the start of a Palm Beach thing. It wasn't set up yet to house a agent in training or whatever they called us, right? So I really ended up not being able to like learn anything because it just wasn't set up to house me. So I ended up quitting that job. I was like, first thing I fucking quit. I'm like, wow. But I didn't look at it as like quitting, giving up. I was just like, this is literally like not for me. I got it. I'm miserable. And I didn't have anything else set up at the time. So during the Navy, during COVID, wanted to make a couple extra bucks when I was injured. On the weekends, I would do Lyft. And during COVID in California, dude, I can go out for an hour and make $300. So I was like, let's fucking. So I started like Lyft driving again, like the Uber Eats, like the food delivery and shit, and like total like ego check at the door, like humble roots,
humble pie.
Just I gotta make money. It's not glorious.
I drove Uber at night when I was first starting Freya, my first wholesale company.
Yeah,
I would drive at night so I could cold call all day.
But that people don't realize that's the easiest way into entrepreneurship. You don't have a boss. You work for yourself. You set your own hours.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, people, it's so funny because I remember even for me, like, I was a college graduate. I was at Merrill Lynch in New York on Wall Street. Now I'm over here putting out bandit signs. I'm getting my ass handed to me on the wholesale side. I cannot close a door, And mind you, now I'm picking up people in my car at night, and these people, it's a whole ego thing, bro. But it's more like saving face. I'm like, oh my God, what if I pick up a friend from a bar and he sees me driving Uber? Holy shit! But I didn't give a shit because the end result for me was much more important. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be successful either way. If people want to judge me for it, I don't give a shit. And it never happened too, which is interesting. Like,
it's a stepping stone, right? So what happened, I got my time back, I guess, but I was working for myself. And being in the Navy and having to take orders, the hurry up and wait, I knew I wasn't somebody that can work for somebody. That's a great quality to have because I hate waiting for shit. The whole hurry up and wait. Like, people go, what's the hardest thing that you did in Buds? Like, hurry up and wait. Because it's fucking annoying. Yeah. So I was, again, able to create my own hours and do these things, but still in that time of trying insurance and not succeeding, taking that ego blow of going back to like Lyft driving, because in my mind I was always going to be like a successful guy. I was fortunate to grow up in Boca. my father had a company, successful, so I'm getting all of these like feelings of failure and really just driven by money, which is the wrong motivation. So being solely driven by money, I decided to take a shortcut. And there are no shortcuts in life. And I should have known better.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So the shortcut I took to make a quick buck was to go against everything that I was brought up of values and characteristic traits. And I had a buddy reach out to me, not a buddy anymore, but a Navy buddy who was living in Washington at this time. And he was like, hey, man, can you give me Adderall? And I was like, as the guy in Buds and just my general characteristics, like I'm a good friend. Like you call me to come pick you, like I'm the guy that, like, to come do that. I always go above and beyond for my friends.
You are a good friend.
Yeah.
You are a good friend.
So, and in this case, it was like, I'm needed for something. I can be a good friend. So I say, yeah, sure, no problem. So I ended up asking a guy I knew in California to send the guy in Washington Adderall, and I'm just a broker.
Unlicensed.
Yeah. So dumbass me is like, real quick, I'm like, well, I'm not touching it. How am I getting caught? No problem. Little do I know is this Navy buddy of mine set me up.
Oh no!
Sent right to an undercover agent.
Oh, you're shitting me.
So,
oh, dude.
Fast forward.
This is the first time you do this shit.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So fast forward after the insurance, through the Uber thing, I start getting in a good groove. I had met with because I'm very close to my father. He's like now my business partner, best friend. So let's call this like January, February of 23. And by March, I start integrating into real estate more because I'm telling my dad, hey, I'm a real estate guy. I know it. And he's like, let's use my network. Let's see if we can open some doors, if anything, introductions, and learn more. So I get a meeting with two very large and very successful developers down here. One of which there was a possibility they have a military outreach program, and I have a great meeting with that coordinator and next step, and then it was just radio silence and follow up, nothing. I'm like, okay, well, fuck. And then the other developer,
it's a great end. Fuck. Damn it.
The other developer, I go to his office and look, this guy has built a incredible portfolio. He's a second-generation developer and took what his dad built and, not to sound like Cardone, but 10x that. I had gone into his office. I'm excited. I wear a suit and tie, best foot forward, and he shows up in gym clothes. Oh, all right. So we sit in the office. And, hey, thanks for, making the time, carving out. And he goes, what skills do you have? I'm like, dude, I just got off the boat. What do you mean? He goes, no offense, but you don't provide any value to my team. Why would I hire you? And I was like, well, I just got out of the Navy. I'm a quick learner. I have a degree in this. My undergrad's in real estate. I'm a licensed broker since 2014, right out of high school. And he goes, that's cool. I can find 10 of you. Well,
that's a reality check.
Yeah. So he fast forward a little bit in that conversation. He's like, everybody wants to be a developer. They think it's fucking sexy, make a lot of money, but it's fucking hard work. It's not fucking easy. It's not glamorous. It's not all these things. He's like, I started off, working with my dad, and I was on a construction site. He goes, you want to be a developer? You go learn construction. And the conversation in his office ended as you've got to build your toolkit. And that toolkit has to have value for somebody to want to work with you. And that really, drove home because I grew up with my dad always saying two things. Those who provide value get a seat at the table, and there's no shortage of opportunities for those that want to hustle. So those are
fucking great advice.
That's what I grew up with. So out of the office, we move into the floor with all of his employees, and he's got a land planner, he's got an architect, he's got project manager, construction manager, partners, and basically standing out, introduce, hey, this is Mike Brenner, his father, and this, that, and the other thing, and he basically goes, and I'm standing there in front of the office, he goes, who in this office wants to stop their day to train fucking Mike Brenner? And he looks at me and he goes, see, nobody wants to stop what they're doing to train you. So you need to come here with value and skills. So
how'd that make you feel?
This is great for me. This is great because I like it.
You're like, oh yeah, right, got it.
Stand by, motherfucker. I'm coming.
Stop traffic. I'm gonna come back.
It is good to have I call it a healthy chip on your shoulder, right?
Yeah, talk about that, dude, because these young guys, bro, we talk about this shit all the time. Like, you're younger than me, you're 29, I'm 34, we're not that far apart.
Yeah.
But, bro, like, these young Thundercats, they're just like, oh, Willie, this, that. I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here, dude.
No, it was a good gut check, and then, look, back to Navy me, I always got this wind and this, like, energy when an instructor's, like, in my face, like, more, and I'm like, give me more, more. Right, and like, cause I'm
sick
like
puppy. I love it.
You can't break me.
That's right.
Like, I'm not going anywhere, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm here.
Close the door. I'm here.
So I had left that meeting and I went home. I went online and I signed up to get my GC license.
Not an easy thing to do.
Not an easy thing to do.
A lot of people think like, oh, it's contract. Bro, that's actually a really hard like test and everything.
So. To get it, you need to have experience in the field, this and the other thing. So I start to do it, and at the same time, I start to apply to get my master's in real estate development. Nova Southeastern had a program. My dad was alumni there, but it got accepted. It wasn't a hard path. And then I end up speaking with a longtime family friend. He's also an architect. And he was a UM grad. And I said, hey, I'm looking at going to Nova, get my master's in real estate development. He goes, you should check out UM. They have a great program. I checked it out. Far superior program, in my opinion, and ended up applying there and getting accepted. So,
plus the Navy's going to pay for it.
Correct. Either way. So after that meeting, I had kind of got into school. I knew I was starting in the fall. I'd started working with my father on the brokerage side of things. We owned a piece of land in Boca, which I started heavily getting involved in and running the team because that's one thing I did know how to do, is run a team, because I was always in a leadership position in the Navy. So this was just, okay, apply the leadership skills, but we just need to get this land entitled. It's commercial to residential. Just tell the consultants what they need to do and just keep pushing those people along. So I started getting in a groove, and a great groove, working with my dad, working with the team and the consultants on the Boca. I was getting into school. I had officially started Brenner Development Group, and now we're in May.
Of 23.
Of 23.
Things are progressing.
And
this is the best you've probably felt in a while.
Dude, everything was back. High five, and the pops, like, we're crushing it and learning very quickly because, no matter what you read or how many videos you watch, OTJ, on-the-job training.
Oh, yeah.
You can't replace it. So accelerating very quickly. I'm feeling that passion and fire burning coming back. And fast forward to May, I'm an early morning guy, early gym guy. At this time, I had a cold plunge in my garage. So I go to the gym. I go home to do my cold plunge. I get out of the cold plunge. I get swarmed by cops.
Oh, shit.
I'm in my underwear.
In your house?
In my house.
Oh, my God.
So that one thing that I thought was in the past, behind me, it all just came crumbling down.
Damn.
So I'm in my underwear. I'm freezing cold. It was like chest and shoulders, and I'm getting arrested. Looking back now, it's funny now, but they couldn't cuff me behind my back.
Oh, shit.
I'm not massive, but hey, I had a pump and I was freezing.
You're yoked.
So I had to get in front. And
I'm not trying to laugh.
No, but I can laugh about it now because part of the reason why I'm here is because that happened.
Yeah.
Because maybe if that didn't happen, I would have taken another shortcut because I didn't get caught. And that's what happens with people who do these things is they get away, little rush. And same thing with all these gurus on Instagram. They get away with a little fraud. The fraud keeps growing and growing and growing. And then finally, you got to pay the piper someday, right? Even with guys who don't pay their taxes, it's going to catch up with you. You're doing something illegal, it's going to catch up with you. So
and it'll be at the worst fucking time.
Yeah, so this was at a terrible time. I was in a good groove.
It's never at a convenient time.
Right. But anyways, I'm super fortunate to have my supportive family behind me because this is not, if I had a lifelong history of this thing, it would have been like, dude, good fucking luck. Like, don't even call me, right? But because this was a one-time instance, I had the support of my family. So, that whole thing comes along, and when faced with that, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and circling back to a couple points of our conversation so far, I mentioned I thought I was a failure because I failed baseball. I thought I was a failure because I failed Navy. I thought now 3 strikes is like, you're out, bro. I just failed at civilian life, like the easiest fucking thing. So now I'm like 3 strikes, very, very brutal time. Some of those thoughts of permanent solutions to temporary problems,
Yeah.
Shit that I don't want to go into, but
yeah.
I was there. I know you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's when I got introduced to my therapist, like my coach now, and had that realization of, hey, this is a turning point in my life. There's 2 paths. Let this label who you are and go down that road, or say, fuck that. That's not who I am, and go this way. And the crazy thing is, in this instance, because it was not at the state level, it was in like a Washington at the federal level. There's no like settlements. There's no knowing what your punishment is going to be. Like it's a different system. So understanding that there is nothing that I can do besides go do what I need to do, that's going to fix this problem. So the living with that for a year, from that to then the actual, no trial, but like the judge, and they tell you the sentencing thing. Not me, not my attorneys, not my family. Nobody knew what the outcome was going to be.
Totally out of your control.
So living with that stress and that unknown, that people in my situation, that usually cripples them.
Yeah.
And they just become a hermit crab and, don't go outside. So because it's who I am, maybe the Navy, the never quit mentality, I just had to box that shit up, shove it the fuck down, and like really pretend like it was there. And I had to have the best outcome. I just needed to be the best person, right? And again, I didn't have a history of this. Like this, I am not that person. So going through and getting a master's, going through and taking the Boca deal, continuing to push that through entitlements, setting up another deal in Colorado, continuing to work with and do brokerage, all of while this is in the background, all while like nobody really knows.
No.
So having,
that's powerful, dude.
Yeah.
Because like you're still performing, very high performance. Yeah. You have to show up to these places. I never got the criminal side or the arrest side, but as you know, I've been in litigation for almost 3 years, and which is coming to a head now. They've tried taking everything from me. I've spent multiple six figures now at this point, including what will be trial if you want to go. Yeah. But yeah, dude, and I've only recently started talking about it because it's coming to a head, but you got to show up, dude. You know, sobriety, all that shit. Like I like you a lot because when we met, like I realized I was like, oh, this guy and we kind of see the same language. It's like you put it in a fucking box, and I don't give a fuck if you're Jacques Cousteau, bro. You'll never fucking find that shit. And you got to show up as the best version of yourself. Meanwhile, people are out here, oh, it was a hard day. I'm like, motherfucker, if you only knew the shit that I just got rocked with, but yet you got to show up with a Coke and a smile, right? That's powerful, dude. I commend you for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, going through all of that, and now it's behind me now. It's been behind me. When
I met you, you had the beeper,
so,
the pager.
Again, it took a while to understand, and I'm thankful that it happened. It put me on a trajectory that maybe wouldn't have happened and accelerated the fuck out of my personal growth and professional growth. So as bad as that situation was and the drama it caused and the family dynamics and all that stuff, I sit here today and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I am here today because of that situation. And I can't guarantee I would be here today with 2 master's degrees while being under supervision and probation and all that stuff in the background. Who knows if that would have happened. So my grandpa had his famous line was, had to be there to be here. And I just got a firm believer. Same shit as like sometimes you don't know why things happen until, you know, right?
No, it's true.
So I am thankful that it happened, and you know, it is part of who I am now. Any investor that is coming into a deal, it's disclosed. It's in my investor documents, our investor documents on the deal that we're doing. And at the start, it was something I was embarrassed of because it's a hiccup. But every time I have a conversation and a disclosure about it, it's like, dude, really? I've done way worse. I just haven't got caught. Or like, oh, let me tell you a story about this. Or like, oh, I actually have one too. So it's like, well, and in today's age, yo, me and Trump got something in common. we both got convictions. But that's, people forget, like, America's the greatest country ever, but it's also the land of opportunity, and like, you get a second chance.
Bro, America's the land of the comeback story, dude. Right? Rocky, like all the best stories are that.
So to me, it was like the whole situation was a second chance. And you know, when we started our relationship, and hey, you know, there's an opportunity to work together. Like the first thing I did, because if we were just friends, you know, maybe I don't have to tell you. But since we're doing business together now, and especially like when I saw there was an opportunity to start within the first couple of weeks of our friendship, I said, hey man, if we're gonna do this, I got to tell you something. And if you remember, I was like, if you're not okay with doing business with me because of that, I'm okay.
And you remember what I said? I was like, are you gay? I was like, I'm fine with it, dude. Like, just as long as you don't hit on me. But are you a Democrat? That was my second question. And then the third question was that.
But that conversation has become easier now, and it becomes easier the further it gets away and the more successful projects that I have. But I had a mentor through the University of Miami program, and I went we had like a monthly meeting, and I went to his office, and I disclosed to him, and he goes, dude, I actually like you more now. You opened up, you showed some vulnerability. You're a human. You make mistakes, and you're doing everything you can to fix it. So he's like, I commend you more, and I actually like you more now that you're open and honest about it, and you owned up to your mistakes. So
the day you told me, bro, because I can imagine, I mean, I could see it in your face. Obviously, it's not an easy conversation to have. That shit fucking sucks. But it is, I mean, I already liked you. I respected the shit out of you. But the day you told me that, I was like, oh, man. I actually trust this guy a lot more than a lot of people that are in my life. You know, that are trying to fucking... Prim and proper doesn't, you know, work for me. If you would have told me, hey, man, I murdered a guy in cold blood, I probably would have been like, all right, brother. Cool. We're not going to do this. But, dude, you fucked up. Like, you know, it happens.
So again, if it happened at the state level, like, it would have just been a fee off the record. No one would ever know. But because of where it happened and what court it was in, stung a little bit more. But yeah, that's part of who I am now, but I don't let it define me. And that every step and journey in life, you know, only being 29, lived a few at this point.
Quite a few.
But those are all, you know, stepping stones and trials through tribulations to get here. And all of those lessons learned and overcoming the adversity directly correlates to the development business. Because when that guy said it's not fucking easy, it's not pretty, it's not. It's not. You know,
it's a cakewalk in comparison.
The last 2 weeks, you know, trying to get my Colorado project out of the ground has been stressful. There has been multiple times where, like, who the fuck needs this, right? And it's so easy to throw into the towel and still have the same mental dialogue. It's like, yeah, this is tough, but I'm tougher, right?
Yeah. So what do you say to people when the mentality of people is, oh, you know, this is tough, life is tough,
yeah,
this is hard, you know, because you hear that shit all the time.
Well, because it's unique, because I have a unique metric and baseline of what tough is and what hurts. So I can appreciate where that person is coming from, because people dictate their reactions based off of their life experiences. So my life experience has been different. So their baseline of tough or what's annoying is much different than mine. So I'm not just going to go right off the rip and say, you're being a fucking pussy, you don't know what tough is. And that's what I think a lot of wrong with what's going out on, you know, the different sides of politics, is people aren't willing to understand where somebody's coming from and understand why they're feeling that way. So, yeah, my gut reaction is be like, dude, you're being a pussy. Like, just shut up and eat the shit sandwich. But I don't know what's going on with their life.
Yeah.
Just to complain. And if you're just like, I'd rather play, you know, video games and, like, put the work in, all right, yeah, you're being a fucking pussy. Your priorities are not in line. Like, you obviously don't want it that much. So it's a very individual basis. You know, you're in the education space as well as the real estate space, so you kind of have to help people navigate those things. So, you know, I'm not in the position to, like, or haven't had to tell people, like, what to do. So I put on you. What do you tell those kids that are like, hey, this is tough? You know, because, I mean, you've had your life experiences, your ups and downs, some almost oopsies and these sorts of things. So
a lot of oopsies.
So again, everybody has their baseline. So
I usually, I do, believe it or not, I do try to understand where that person's coming from. I like to do the work on the front side, where I tell them very bluntly and very clearly, kind of like what that dude did for you, where he stood you out in front of the office and he's like, who the fuck wants to help Mike Brenner? Yeah. I might not do it in that fashion, but I am. I mean, Antonio knows because he's been in the calls. I give it to them straight, bro. Yeah. I'm like, listen. You said to me, I want to be the best. That's what you said. Not one of the best. You said the best. Yeah. And you know what? The best don't give a shit about stuff like this. The best expect it, and the best eat it, compartmentalize it, like you said, and now it turns into rocket fuel. Yep. If you do not have that ability, or you can't develop that ability, you're gonna have a really tough time in making it in anything in life. Yeah. I don't know anyone who's done anything. Sports is usually the best analogy, because a lot of people follow it and they understand it, right? A champion, an Olympian, Navy SEAL, right? A very successful entrepreneur. Shit, the President of the United States. I mean, that guy's had it really fucking tough. Across the board, you know, for 50 plus fucking years, right? I mean, he literally got shot. I mean, for God's sakes. I don't know anyone that I've ever met where I'm like, man, that guy's kind of soft. Yeah. He must have just made it here by just sheer luck. Yep. No, dude, at some point the rubber meets the road, and I tell them, I say, why'd you get started? The problem is, and you nailed it at the beginning, you said money was my motivation. Yeah. I can tell you right now, if a guy is coming into my business and he's trying to compete against me, let's say, and he's after a Ferrari, he's going to lose 10 out of 10 times, because my why is my single mom and my single grandmother. Yeah. How are you ever going to outwork me, bro? Like, when shit gets hard for me, I look at them and I'm like, this isn't hard. Like, you're going to quit on your mother?
Yeah.
Hell no. Right? You're going to quit on your grandmother. You're going to quit on your fiance. You're going to quit on the fact that, you know, your father that was never really around said you were a loser when you were a kid. Like, no, dude, that's not going to happen, right? Yeah. But you're out chasing a Ferrari. As soon as that wall gets too big, you're just going to be like, fuck it, I don't want the Ferrari that bad.
Yeah.
You know, I don't negotiate with me.
Yeah.
That's just what I tell people. I notice you don't negotiate with you. If I say I'm going to go run X amount of miles, I might be like, this is going to fucking suck. Of course it's going to suck. Yeah. But you eat that shit. Yeah. But because you said,
yep.
You know, it wasn't 8 miles, it was 10.
Yeah.
But it's the stupid little shit like that most people just blow over.
Yeah.
Where you said, hey, I'm going to grab this land, I'm going to get it entitled in X, whatever that date was. Yeah. I'm going to go raise this money. You hit your mark. It doesn't fucking matter. And I've noticed every time you hit your mark, that self-confidence meter goes, because the next deal comes along and it's usually bigger,
yep.
more requirement, but the threshold of pain or the threshold of expectation or even your own capabilities goes, and it goes up. And that's why you see these guys, they just keep going and going and going. And after a certain point, it turns into muscle memory. Like for you right now, you could get smacked with any kind of adversity or hard time in your life, and you'd be like, wow, did not expect that, but guess what? Let's get to fucking work.
Yep.
And I'll look at you 6 months down the line and be like, damn, Mike made it out of that one, huh?
Yeah.
And you look at me and it's going to be the same shit, right? That's life, though. It's not even business. That's life.
Yeah.
At least a good life.
Yeah.
Anyway, you could hit cruise control and you can live one of those lives, too. Just stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with that shit.
Yeah. No, and I think a lot of it comes down to being a solution finder, not a problem finder. Because
dude.
Every deal, every situations has problems, and if you're just a perpetual problem finder, nothing's gonna get done. You gotta be solution oriented, and how do we just continue to just move this along?
It's basic shit. I've seen you with the Colorado deal. Like, hey, this isn't gonna get built. The contractor told you that. They're like, yeah, we're gonna be, 6 months behind or whatever it was. And you came out of the office, you're like, what the fuck does he mean? Like, where does the 6 months go?
Yeah.
But you found the solution.
Yep.
And I heard you on the phone, which is because we have an office together here. And I heard you on the phone. You're like, dude, I don't give a shit. I will be out there with a shovel and salt and a truck de-icing the fucking driveway. Yeah. I will shuttle the guys to the job site myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this project's in Colorado. But when I hear shit like that, and you and I got some projects together, I'm like, this guy's a fucking winner, dude. Because I know, dude, I know what I'm capable of, and that's my attitude too. I'm like, bro, there's no problem that him and I are gonna get into where we're gonna be like, I don't know, dude, it's fucking crazy, bro. Let's just ring the bell. No, dude, we don't even have a bell at the office. No, it's the whole fucking point, dude. When you're like that, the universe just moves and says, okay, access granted. Yeah. If you're the opposite, those are the people you run into in the elevator, and it's basic shit. And they'll just greet you. You don't even know this guy. And they're like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. You just say that, and they're like, oh, man. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. I don't even, like that's the word vomit that's going to come out of your mouth. Yeah. Like, lie to me, dude.
Yeah.
I lie to people all the time.
Say you had a great day.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Dude, I'm fucking imploding inside. But I'm like, I'm not going to fucking tell you that.
How you doing? Living the dream.
Living the dream, baby. Might be somebody else's dream, but I'm living it.
Cookie cutter answer.
Yeah, dude. Just, again, you never know what relationship is on the other side of that.
Yep.
Or what potential. Maybe it's a future investor that now that guy's like, I don't want to fucking be around this guy. Yeah. And you just blew yourself up. A lot of people don't even realize the dreams that they kill on their own.
Yeah.
And they just do it to themselves. But I get it. I get it, but I don't get it. It's easier to blame something else.
100%.
It is, dude.
Yep.
That's a cop-out, though.
Yeah. I could have blamed so many people in my situation.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But he said, I made the bed, I got to lay in it, dude.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
So,
and that's the problem I see. A lot of young men follow me. That's the biggest problem I see with a lot of young men. No guidance in the sense of, and look, guidance is great, but at some point in your lives, you're gonna have to grab your nutsack and put your fucking boots on, metaphorically. Yeah. And move on. Yep. Like, you put your pants on just the same way I do, the same way he does, the same way everybody does. The difference is, are you going to keep going?
Yep.
Do you get up? And And I always say, dude, life, people tell me, this young guy told me the other day, he's like, bro, life hit me. And I go, so fucking hit back. The fuck are you talking about?
Classic Rocky.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, so fucking smack back. And he was like, I'm like, you can just hit back.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
what was it? Misery Loves Company.
Yeah, bro.
I'm not joining you, man.
Yeah, dude. It's like, bro, I don't even relate to you because we're not even, like the energy field. I'm like, bro, I don't allow that in my matrix.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk to me about how I'm running too much.
Yeah.
It's too hard. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro. It's too hard for you, motherfucker. Not for me. Like, I'm on my own trail. I'm not going to judge your bum ass. Don't judge me for trying to be better, or greater, So today, obviously, you've overcome quite a bit of adversity at a tender 29.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome, though, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations for that.
The gray hairs speak for it. I think 75% of them probably came from the Navy.
Yeah.
25%. The ones that pop up, on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Those are now from real estate
Development.
Yeah, but
But you're a callous man.
Development is a long play. Real estate in general, right? It's about creating generational wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't happen overnight. A lot of the instant gratification, entitlement, all, did we all come victim to it? Like, how the fuck did that guy get there overnight? Like, probably scam, but whatever. But Instagram does that a lot, but, people are always looking for a shortcut. Mm-hmm. The shortcut, we've mentioned, is going to bite you in the butt. And
100%.
For some people who might not understand how long development can take, it really depends on what asset class you're going after and what kind of value you're trying to create. The niche and the business model that I'm working around and we're working around is unlocking value. And by doing that is we're looking at projects that have been overlooked in general by the market. All 3 projects, 2 of them which you're involved in right now, have been on-market opportunities and have been overlooked for years and by dozens of people.
Yep.
So development takes a visionary to carry the project through because there was a lot of hoops to jump through to get through to the other side. For highlighting the Boca project, this was a commercial parcel that's been vacant for 20 years, 5 different owners, 5 different projects. And, it took my team to be able to unlock the value here on this land by saying, hey, what's the highest and best use here, doing a really good market study, and taking the risk and closing on the land. Because this seller in particular wasn't willing to give time for entitlements. Generally speaking, developers tie up land with contingencies to close, right? And that contingency is the site plan approval or entitlement. And that time can vary, right? Because if it's a commercial lot and I just want to put an office building, it's permitted. We just design it with the development parameters that are listed right there in the code. You design the box to fit in the box, gets approved, it's quick, it's allowed. Great. Unlocking that value is, we took this commercial parcel, 5 commercial projects that were permitted, got denied. Neighborhoods kill projects, man. And we came in with the residential use, and Thursday, 2 days ago, we were at planning and zoning and unanimous approval.
No shit.
Neighborhoods, the neighbors adjacent to the project come out and support it. So, by doing so, we doubled the land value alone in 2 years by changing the land use from commercial to residential. But that has been a 2-year-long process. That's not always the case, but in this case, it has been 2 years. And again, this property was on market. Anybody could have done this, but it just took that developer to say,
the lens.
I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. But through all the ups and downs, projects go through with the planning committee at Boca, maybe 3 to 5, reviews. We had 7, right? And getting to this point, you can't lose focus on the end goal. And tying that to the Navy is 99% of the people who quit in buds lose focus on the end goal of getting the trident, becoming the seal, making it to the promised land, whatever you want to call it. So, relating that to business, right? Site plan approval is the seal, becoming a seal. So throughout this whole 2-year process, there's a million opportunities to quit. Sell land to somebody else, not my fucking problem. But not losing sight of the end goal is what pushes you through that. So there's the unlocking of the value there, right? In Colorado, this was a approved project for a 3-unit condo on market. It was damn near shovel ready. It's very similar to our Delray one, which after this, but this project, again, on market, took my team. I'd negotiated land for over a year and a half because all I wanted was time. And I said, dude, if you just gave me the time, we could have been closing now. But anyways, the project that he designed wasn't feasible to construct. So being that visionary, having the ability to imagine something there different that can work conceptually, speaking to my architect team, my consultants, can this work? Yes. All right, now we're fucking doing it. So I'd like for you to find a developer who's gotten something under contract, entitled, and permits in less than a year, because that's what's about to happen. Probably get my permits next week.
Wow. Congratulations.
And look,
again, another reason why we partnered.
Yeah, my dad's a 40-year developer. He's never done anything that quick. Granted, this had a leg up to the Boca one because it's, buy right project on buy right land, right? So a little bit easier. And that's the experience that I hope we have, and which I plan to have in Delray, is
it already looks that way.
We found this distressed opportunity, through the it started as just hey, this could be a different development deal, and it turned into a reverse flip type project. But again, this project was on the market for almost 900 days. Have 50 people tried and buy it, right? But we were the ones who came in with one, the creative acquisition, and two, the vision on how to unlock this value, because this does have value already as is, but it's not to its fullest potential. The plots are too thin, the building, the architecture is off. So going in and getting the team to support this new business model, we have just maybe not unlocked the value of the land, but we've realized the value of the land, right? Because the project that the old owner designed is really worthless because it didn't get absorbed. So right now the land value is the land value. Once we come in with our project design, we've got an incredible basis through our acquisition at about like $300K a door. Through our design,
14%.
Yeah, through our design change, once we get our plans reapproved, our value per door, call it $350 to $375 for the inlines and $400 to $425 for the corner lots. So we've just baked in some equity to our acquisition. So again, it takes that visionary, and this is a 6 to 8 month process with Delray. This isn't an overnight success story. Then we have to go through construction and go through sales. Nobody has a crystal ball on the market, but again, a lot of people don't even start because they get scared of like, well, what if the market crashes tomorrow? Well, dude, what if you get in the car and die tomorrow? You're just going to live your life in fear?
Yeah.
You can't not do something in fear of something that is totally out of your control and something that may never happen. So you control the variables you can control.
That's a real.
Yeah. You set up the process from start to finish, and all of those are targets. Call that the famous saying, eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Mm-hmm. You set up the targets and you continue to knock down those targets.
Yep.
And over 2 years, the elephant's eaten, the project's done, and we're on to the next one, and we've already started 3 others. Mm-hmm. So, the development game isn't sexy because all of those processes that I mentioned of, entitlements, plans, and consulting, it's not sexy stuff, The amount of calls, the amount of hours I've spent revising plans, learning plans. Like, if you want to learn how to unlock value on a land, learn how to design something that is feasible to construct. You know, a lot of these, renderings that you see, they're fucking cartoons. You can't even build that. You build it for more than what it's going to sell for. So
can you explain really quickly, because you're giving like a lot of high-level shit here. You just explain really quickly to the people what the difference between what something is zoned for and then what's feasible.
Okay. So every parcel, no matter what municipality, has a land use designated and a zoning code attached to it. So when you're looking at a parcel, you can look at it, it's all public record, but that parcel has a land use and a zoning, right? So within those codes, there are permitted uses, and then there's conditional uses. If you want a conditional use, you got to do a couple things to get it, but it's generally allowed. So then what's difference of what's feasible is, I mean, it's a tough question, because somebody could make the argument that, hey, that's a commercial parcel. It's not feasible to put residential, right? So,
well, it is if it's in a largely residential area, like Boca.
Yeah.
Where they didn't want that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question well.
No, I'm just saying, so feasibility, for people to understand, it's like something may be zoned for a 10 unit, let's say multi, but what's feasible because of parking is a 6 unit.
Correct.
Right?
Right. So the feasibility study, generally speaking, whether you can do it yourself or you get an architect involved, now there's softwares that can do it, is really seeing what building footprint can come on there. So once you understand the building footprint, you can understand the cost associated by using like a plug hard cost number. That's one of the hardest things to do unless you're very intimate in the construction industry, is to understand the cost. But based off of that, you can the feasibility, call it a back of the envelope, back of the napkin, pro forma, is, okay, here's the parcel, here's what can fit, here's my parcel acquisition, here's what can fit, here's how much it's going to cost to build, here's how much it's going to cost those are the hard costs to build, here's how much it's going to cost to get it to be able to be buildable, there's a soft cost, always throw on a little contingencies, right, call it 10 or 20%, and does that number at the end either, is it less than what it can sell for, or is that less than what it can be stabilized with a rental, whether it's a retail strip or units that are residential? Is that rental value, whether it's commercial or multifamily, exceed the value of the cost to build? That's your quick feasibility. The back of the napkin is the easy part. Seeing what can fit, if you don't have any background in architecture design or understand, setbacks and zoning these things, that's a tougher part. The easiest ones, and this is more so your space, is single family. That's just man. I'd love to be able to build a single family, because hey, it's a single family lot. I got 10 foot back here, 5 foot on each side, 25 feet in the front. I know my box. I know the neighborhood. Boom, done.
3, 2, done.
You design it to the box, submit it for permits, done. There's no, you don't even need to get a land use attorney involved. For the stuff that we do, or Boca specifically needs a land use attorney, because we're essentially changing the zoning. What we have done in Boca is we have opened the door for Boca to rewrite the zoning code. As it sits, there is not a zoning code that allows for our urban infill community that we're building. So what will happen, I guarantee you, is because of our project, Boca is going to adopt, over time, a new zoning designation or zoning code that allows for projects like mine. Because they're not making any more land in East Boca. And it comes to visionaries for redeveloping and taking commercial land that's largely surrounded by residential and creating it to residential. So we had 7 different applications for this parcel. 7. From the land use to the zoning to abandonment of a right-of-way to setback variances. Because the way the code's written, it's 70 years old. Boca was generally known as a very suburban area, very spread out. But now we have, over time...
Very strict, too, with a lot of things in Boca.
Over time, we've created an urban core and this 15-minute city lifestyle where you can live your 15 minutes with everything, right? But there isn't a zoning that allows for this. So we are pioneers in Boca. We are the first to deliver a project like this, and that is the reason why we have 8 pre-sales without even site plan approval yet.
Fuck yeah. I love it. I'm a GP on that one. That's my first development deal.
So, I mean, speaking of that, our friendship started off quick, and I had an opportunity to put a group together to take this project over because spoke about my dad a little bit, but, he was done being a developer, right? We're doing the project in Colorado. He can only handle so much. He's on the back nine. So
he's earned it.
When I was going to put a new group together and take him out, you were one of the first guys I came to, one, on the friendship, and two, the value that I know you bring to the table. And you don't need to be in development to be a development partner because you got different skill sets. And I think your skill set and why I'd asked you to join the group was because of the network that you got me into, the Dealmaker family, but you're on the next level up, and part of being a developer and being a sponsor is raising capital. Without capital, you can't do the deal. And, look, I'm 29, got a good thing going, but I don't have enough money to fund these deals. And it's not to, like, one of those guys who's you do everything with OPM. I don't believe in that mentality. I think to get an investor involved in your deal, you need to have some skin in the game. And your investor is going to know the position you're in because of where you are in your career. I'm only able to put in a certain amount of money. I don't have $4 million liquid to put into a deal. So, of
Not
course,
yet.
Not yet. But, even developers who do, they still, syndicate their deals.
Yeah.
Well,
it's always smart not to put all your eggs in one basket, especially if you have a great deal, because people need to understand, if you have a phenomenal deal like Del Rey, we already won on the land acquisition, the basis. It's so much easier to raise capital. Right now it's kind of a funky time in the marketplace, which it's interesting because ground up construction, rates are still really high. But I bet you this, next month, Jerome, I think he's coming down, and that's going to open up the doors again to, I believe, a more bullish market. And by the time that you and I are exiting Del Rey, rates are going to be at a totally different game.
And look, these aren't huge projects. We're not building office space. We're not doing a 340-unit apartment complex. There's 3 of those in queue, so we're not coming into a saturated market. We're heavily focused on these unique and boutique infill opportunities. So the investors that we have in Boca, the investors that we have lining up for Del Rey, they're local. They understand and they know the market, and they can see the upside in the deal. So I'm excited to get Del Rey moving. Boca's huge milestone done. We've got site plan approval coming up in August, and that's breaking ground Q1 of 2026. This thing's it's going to be 100% sold out during construction. Yeah,
because we already pre-sold 8.
Yes,
right.
8.
And a shovel hasn't even gone into the ground.
Shovel has not gone to the ground, but that is because of
with deposits and everything.
Yep, that's because of the location, the product type, and the price point. So you talk about feasibility. Yeah, I could have designed a $6 million house, but is the market going to absorb that? No. So, and the case in point to our Del Rey deal, the project that was designed was priced too high, and the market didn't absorb it. So
and the cost of construction was wild on that one.
Yeah. So the feasibility is, you also have to think of, you got to build to the buyer. You have to as much as you want to brand it and do all these things and make it yours, it's got to sell, man. And you'll make your brand over time. So it's got to be, whether it's a fix and flip, and you got to design that interior to what somebody's going to either want to rent or buy. Doesn't matter that you like red carpet. You're probably the only motherfucker that likes red carpet. So you better put in like white tile because that's generally going to be absorbed. So
White pallets sell.
Yeah. When you look at a larger scale community, you have to design it for the largest buyer pool. The goal is to sell out. So if I did these things with, very unique colors and very unique design, I've just shrunk that buyer pool. But by making something visually appealing with colors that are broadly accepted, with finishes that are broadly accepted, I've just expanded that buyer pool and reduced the risk of not selling out as best as we can. We can never control the market.
Sure.
But I want to be able to have something for the largest buyer pool. We've already eliminated a lot of buyers because there's only single-family home buyers. We're a townhome community. But there's a balance where you can convert a single-family home buyer into a townhouse because we have duplexes. Everyone's a corner. You have just one shared wall. Right? So we've only got 2 inline units, and that was dictated because of the site constraints. But we've got 18 corner units that lives like a single family, but you get the lock-and-leave lifestyle of a townhome because you have a small HOA. You don't have to worry about the landscaper and pressure washing. That's all taken care of. So actually one of our buyers lives in a single-family home now, and he's reserved a unit because that person might not want to coordinate his landscaper anymore, the pool guy, all these little things. He's done. So by designing this project for what I believe and my team believes the market will dictate, we've already proven that hypothesis. 8 done, being on market for 4 or 5 months, and we haven't put in a shovel of ground. So the feasibility, rather than just quick back of the napkin, there's multiple layers, and people get it wrong. People get it wrong. Like this guy in the Del Rey, he got it wrong. He designed something that he thought would get. So
yeah, awesome dude. He was but you could tell he was emotional about the project.
Yeah, and that's one thing about real estate. Can't be emotional.
About business.
It's just real estate.
Don't do it.
It's just real estate.
Yeah, bro, you're not living there. You know what I'm saying? I watch fix and flippers more on my side of the business. Yeah. I watch fix and flippers do this shit all the time. They put these things and these lights and the pallets and the black tile, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Your house looks like a scene out of Scarface. They're like, oh, no, but I like it. I'm like, but you're not the buyer.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be 100 other people that gotta like it. White pallets, man.
Yep.
Make it clean.
Let sell it. Let them come in and make the changes.
Right.
So, there's again multiple different layers. There's abundance of material and education, books, school. Growing up, my father's always a believer of further education. So, not that just because he was a believer in further education, I wanted to progress and accelerate my growth professionally. So on the job and in school, just drinking from the fire hose, everything real estate development. 2 years, got a master's in real estate development and an executive master's in construction management. And, took me from A to B much quicker than it would have just, trying to do it alone or just solely relying on the job training. So, those schooling opportunities, I understand University of Miami is private. I was fortunate to have the GI Bill pay for it.
Well, not fortunate, you earned it.
Yeah, but there are public schools, there are scholarships. There's no excuse if that's something that you want to do. Go do it. There are companies that you can go work for that they pay for further education. When there's a will, there's a way, right?
I would know.
Yeah. So.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Ba-bam! That's real number 2. Your dad's an awesome guy. I piss my pants every time I see him because he's just so funny. Like a lot of really good energy.
Yeah.
It must be because of the fact that he grew up in Westchester, Miami, just like me.
Just like you.
Yeah. When Jews were all there. And it was a largely Jewish neighborhood, and then us Cubans came in. And but yeah, it was awesome.
Then we all moved to Boca.
Yeah, I think we grew up like 8 blocks away from where he told me that he grew up. But,
that's funny.
So just to kind of wrap up, relationship capital, it's something I talk about a lot and something you and I share, but I want people to really understand high level, just a condensed version. Like, how did you and I meet? And how did just for the people watching, if you follow my story, my Instagram, we were touring some houses yesterday. That was the builder, Colin Builders. Awesome dudes, got some amazing product, great craftsmanship. That's a builder partner with us on those projects, right? Knows his shit. Like third generation construction guy, right? So these are the types of people you want to partner with, by the way. But the point is, you and I have the Delray property, which we're equal partners on that. I'm a GP on the Bristol Point, which is Boca. I came in much later. So I have a smaller percentage of that. But we have literally, in terms of value of real estate, we have tens of millions of dollars of real estate going up. That is not bullshit to say. That is exactly what it is. In terms of profit, between both, it's multiple million. It's over $5 million, God willing, projected, like our portion. People need to understand how we met, because it's so silly, but it's awesome in the sense of the simplicity of it. The fact that we met at a gym in Boca. But not a janky gym.
No.
Not UFit. No offense to anybody who goes to UFit. But you're not going to make these kinds of relationships at UFit. Okay? We met at Lifetime.
Did.
Yeah? And people, oh, bro, it's so expensive. I'm like, it was expensive. It would have cost me millions of dollars. That's expensive as shit.
That's true.
You know, like, you got an office here because, you know, we struck a friendship and all that stuff. But just explain to people, like, how you view, like, how we met and relationship capital and all that.
So, got to give credit to Steve-O. He's the one who introduced us.
Yeah, your brother. He was in the sauna.
So Steven met you in the bathroom. No.
We had towels on.
But then, you know, next time that we were working out together, he's, you got to meet this guy. He's in real estate. You guys gonna hit it off. Obviously, we did. You know, immediately just firing ideas and that chemistry off, and then, you know, came here to work on a weekend together on some shit. I wanted to learn more about this was like right before Reverse Flip launch, but the methodology, because you're like, how do you source? And I was like, well, you know, been in this industry through my father for, you know, 4 decades, so we got a lot of brokerage relationships and know owners of things. So carving my own path, but, you know, recognizing that I've got a head start in the game, I was interested in your modality. So we met on the weekend.
It's a nice word, modality.
I feel like you just wanted to test me to see if I work on the weekend. Like, I was like, you don't know me, son.
I did. I was like, yeah, come through on a Saturday. You're like, yeah, okay. I was like, all right, cool.
So then, you know, spent a few hours understanding the methodology behind the sourcing, and, you know, still use those tools and tips today, right? Just if I need to know something about a parcel.
Yeah, you shot me the one, the shit box next to the new construction.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, I found it. I'm like, all right, cool.
You know, fast forward to that, we start engaging in more conversations. Like, hey, dude, we got an open office. It's got your name on it. Like, you know what? I got a fucking sick home office, but I understand the power of surrounding myself with like-minded individuals.
Proximity.
So, you know, I took the leap, right? Got an office, bought another computer, bought another desk. But I was like, you know what, this is good. And the real reason why is it met my threshold of under 5 minutes to my house. You know, 6 minutes, too far of a drive.
6 minutes would have been done. Yeah.
No, but being in here took a little bit to transition, you know, to coming over more full time. I was still finishing up school and stuff, but now I'm, you know, here 90% of the time, 5 days a week, minus some travel. And, you know, we'll call it from January to now, and being 90% in the office, we've got the Delray deal. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to fire off ideas in between meetings, just random work sessions, and create value. And that's how, you know, Delray came back. We've got a few parcels that, you know, might work out to build some multifamily on. But if I wasn't in this office and we didn't forge the relationship and continue to build it, you wouldn't pursue those opportunities. Mm-hmm. You would do the normal, just flip and move on to the next one. So the ability to just be here and say, hey, this is a go, no go, because we did that. Hey, look at this one, bing, bang, boom, no go, dude. no hard feelings.
Yep.
See ya. Next one. Let's put our focus back onto this. So the cost of the gym membership, the cost of rent, those are all, nominal costs because of the value that's been created by just one transaction, and there's like 2 or 3 already behind it.
We have a 7-unit in Alapata that we're going to build too.
Yeah.
Another multi-million-dollar. And I would have never seen that opportunity if it wasn't for Mike's lenses.
Right.
Because I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's a single family, cool. Yeah. I did know, for the record, I told you, I was like, dude, it's T5L zoning.
Yeah.
I know that's fucking good. It's Alapata.
I came back and, hey, we could put 7 units on.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I think we could get a triplex. You're like, brother, you get 7. And I was like, what? Like, dude, I mean, $1 million+ equity deal now. Yeah. And we're going to keep the 7 units because it would be stupid to give it away, because what's that going to be worth, right? Yeah. Let alone if we assemble around it, that would be even bigger.
Yeah.
Because the density there is crazy. But again, learning off of you, and that's what I tell people. I don't know everything. He doesn't know everything. Nobody knows everything, by the way. Mm-hmm. Even Jeff Bezos learns things on a daily basis. But it's the simple act of proximity and putting yourself out there. And when an opportunity presents itself, no ducks in a row shit. Yeah. I fucking hate ducks in a row, dude. And hate's a strong word, but like really, dude, you and I are very much, we're like, all right, doing, boom, done. Yeah. We didn't even have the LLC ready, whatever, when we tied up Del Rey. Another Saturday.
Yep.
Developer, prior owner came in on a Saturday. We sat with him for 3 hours. I had the lender relationship to stop the sale. Yep. Boom, boom. Raised the $250,000 to do the bridge loan. But you had the know-how. You're like, dude, this is how this project needs to go. Yep. Because the cost of construction and this and that and the feasibility and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like picking up on things, because I would have just structured the deal and I would have been like, all right, 2.1 land basis. I could probably sell it for 2.5. I mean, that 2.6, it's a great day. And we could have ripped a nice $500,000 there. But there's $4 million in profit in a 20 to 24 month span. Yep. And then you do your thing. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's a great learning experience from both angles.
Yeah. All not possible without an introduction, and then
and Lifetime Fitness.
Yeah.
For the win.
But look, I mean, not every relationship's also going to work out that way. Got very lucky that, very similar minded, very similar personalities, both different sides of the business, bringing different toolboxes, like I mentioned in the beginning. But both of our toolboxes combined just created this mega chest of tools, and we get to create something and do developments that really create our own style of development that I don't think anybody else is doing, from the acquisition side to the delivery of the product. Being open and willing to use different construction modalities and technologies to outpace what the other guys are doing. The one thing I hate is like, well, why are you doing this way? It's always been done this way.
Yeah.
There's better ways to do things.
The same thing, dude.
It's been done this way the whole time, and that's how reverse flip was born, because it's just it's a different way of doing the same thing. You might not think it's better, but it works. So it is better. Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
What's younger guys too, bro? Like that's what I've always seen in you. I'm like, bro, this is a young guy. I don't know what the fuck he's talking to me about SIPs and all this shit. But I look it up and I'm like, all right, I'm on the Google. I'm on the Google. I can look it up. And but I'm looking at you doing what you're doing in the development world, and I'm looking at me, what I'm doing on the residential, the acquisition world. Yeah. I'm like, dude, we're just both challenging the norms, and we're young Thundercats. Boca, I moved back to Boca a year ago. I'm very happy, but with all the relationships and everything that we're forged here, I've been moving at a very fast pace though. But the reality is, I came into Boca with a shit ton of intention. Yeah. No idea I was going to meet you and this and all the way that it laid out. But, like, I believe in God, and I'm like, bro, I'm coming to Boca because I see the runway that Boca has. Yep. I'm coming from Fort Lauderdale. I'm originally from Miami. I'm like, bro, there's already enough guys doing this shit there. Yeah. Let me go zig while others are zagging. And Boca is just a place where it's older. It's a little tired in the sense that the older guys, and you have Batman, Babnasium, which I'd love to have him on the podcast. I actually think I watched one of his podcasts. I think it's great. Yeah. But dude, the guy's just pushing 80. Yeah. God bless his heart. Yeah. Like this has got to be passed on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like now you got the younger guys, and it's like, hey, new things are happening. Boca's finally open for development, redevelopment. You with that urban development now, like you're setting a precedent. That's awesome.
Yep.
I want to be around guys like that. I don't want to be around the same guys who are like, all right, this is how it's done. I'm like, bro, get the fuck away from me, dude. Like, that doesn't make money.
Yeah.
That makes money, but that doesn't make change, dude.
Yeah.
That doesn't make change. Like, you and I, in the next 15, 20 years, bro, you kidding me? We'll have the keys to Boca.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind.
It's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, dude. And you'll be 49. Like, that's, I'll be 53. I mean, that's young, dude, 20 years. But we'll do so much shit in the meantime. And I love to be at a place where it's a lot. I love energy.
Yep.
And I have a lot of it, as you know.
Yeah.
And it's, can't contain it. But, I just love to go.
Yep.
Like, I love to be doing something, and I love great scale at it, challenge. Because it's just more fun that way. You know what I'm saying?
And we're going, baby.
Yeah. So to any young guy, we usually wrap up with this, but like to any young guy out there that's watching this, younger guy usually, what would you one piece of advice, if you could break it down to that, one piece of advice that they're thinking about starting an entrepreneurship, or they just started and they're getting their ass handed to them, they look like you on the shoreline just getting wrecked by waves, Would you call it surf torture? Yeah, so that's basically what the beginning of it looks like for years. So for any young guy like that, what's one piece of advice that you would give him?
I would tie it into, I think the whole theme of like who I am today is don't be afraid to fail, and understanding that trying and not succeeding doesn't make you a failure. Those are stepping stones, and as soon as you stop trying, then you failed. So as long as you don't stop trying, you haven't failed. I love it. And don't be afraid to try.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wise words from a 29-year-old with a lot of life experience.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. This
I
was fun.
appreciate you, bro. Really. It's been a lot of stuff. Thank you.